announcement has been paid for.
Oh, that's right, folks. It's me. It's the THC back here for another thrilling episode of WMW Rezin. With me, as always, riding shotgun and taking out the baddies. It's the I to the double ZY. Mr. Izzy, hi. What's going on, my man?
Man, I have looked forward to doing this podcast, and I can't wait to bring our guest on. Man, it's going to be so much fun.
All right. Well, why don't you fill me in, brother? Tell me a little bit about who's coming on today. Who are we going to be talking to?
Man, how do we describe it? He's got like 1,000 gimmicks from what I understand, but I know him as my nephew, Mosh Pit Mike. So,
yo, Mosh Pit Mike, what's good, my man?
Yo, what's up, guys? How you doing? Nice. I'm here nice and early for me, so that's interesting. A lot good so far. You know what's good so far? I woke up. That's what's good.
And the funny thing was I stayed out at his house like a couple years ago and thought with the time change that I wouldn't wake up at 4 in the morning, but I still woke up at 4 in the morning.
Of course. So how long have you guys known each other?
13, 14 years, something like that.
Yeah, say 2012, right about there,
Yeah. So
very nice.
Years. Yeah, man. And real quick, not to bring down the mood or anything like that, but there was kind of a situation as this past week, right?
Yeah, it was just Friday, I think, Saturday, something like that.
Yeah, so if you would, Mosh, tell the people exactly what happened and what we're bringing up. And if you would, Chris, bring up that image real quick as he talks about it.
Sure thing.
Oof. Yeah, some of the guys, we've been beefing with GCW lately, so some of the guys went out there to the GCW, the backyard show. It was myself, Cocaine, and the Backseat Boys. And, man, the Backseat Boys, they went through it, man. They looked like they were in a spot to win it. Tommy was going for a move off of like a bus or a car, something crazy, and just the table turned and just snapped his ankle. And,
so what
you can see it.
Yeah, what we're looking at right now is Tommy Grayson's ankle.
Yeah. Like,
oof.
It broke in 3 places or something like that. Look at it. It's just, oh, man, it's crazy.
I can't even imagine that had to have been like a fucking gunshot through the, the pain must have been unbelievable. So the Backseat Boys, by name and reputation, have been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
I remember seeing them work Ring of Honor show, I think back in 2002, 2003, something like that. So they've been around a long time. Johnny Cashmere.
That was Generation 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we lost Trent earlier than we should have, and unfortunately that seems to be a pattern in the business. Although thankfully it seems to have slowed down some,
right.
Since about 15 years ago, when people were just every time I opened the internet, somebody else had passed. So it looks like we are making headway there, but we did lose Trent. Now Johnny, amazing talent.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, nice, really nice guy. I've talked to, who was it? Was it Rip? One of the folks who trained him. We had a long talk about Johnny and did nothing but good things to say. So the second generation, tell me how the second generation of Backseat Boys comes to fruition.
Well,
man.
Go ahead.
Do you know more than I do? If you know more than I do, please do, because I don't even know what I've seen.
I know that they came through Donnie B and Mike Bucci, Supernova. They were involved in their development and their training. And that's kind of the extent of their background that I know. And that's the people that I reference that know them. But to come through those guys, you have to be quality workers. You have to have a great work ethic. And the reason we bring it up now is because this is going to be a long recovery for Tommy. And if you go, we're going to put a link in our podcast here.
But there's the link. It'll be in the description down below. But this is a link to the Pro Wrestling Tees shop for the Backseat Boys. Tell us a bit more about what's going on with that.
So that's basically where they're going to be receiving their funds while he's down there. He's not going to be able to wrestle. And some of us they actually support themselves wrestling.
Right.
So to be able to keep some kind of income coming in for them, go to their pro wrestling tees, check them out, the Amazing Graysons, and purchase a tee and help these guys out because they truly do sacrifice everything by doing this, and sometimes the reward isn't as great as the sacrifice. So let's not forget this guy who broke his leg out there just trying to fucking entertain the people.
That's right.
And man, I know there's not really a reward with it, but he got to find out how many actual friends he has, man. Like we're right there with him afterwards. So like it sucked. It's a rough thing for him, but now he knows how much everybody loves him. And I think when he comes back, it's going to be so much crazier. He's going to be so much better. I can't wait.
Yeah, he's going to come back with the super upper body, man. That's it.
Dog, right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I guess that's, when you can't, work the leg, you can't have leg days. You have upper body days. So that works out pretty well. So Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself, my man. How did you find yourself in the wacky world of wrestling?
Oh man, it goes back a long time. Back to it was the first gathering, man. I was looking at the program for the first gathering, and I was showing it to this guy I knew. And it was Madman Pondo. It didn't even say Madman Pondos. It was JCW Wrestling School on the program. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. I think I'm going to go there. He's like, what? Don't go to some school for 45 minutes, man. If you want to learn how to wrestle, like, come with us. Because at the time he was training here in New Mexico. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I went to the school, and I went to JCW first. And it was really just Madman Pondo and other guys just kind of beating the hell out of people, and it was really fun to watch. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad that wasn't my first introduction to wrestling. I don't know if I would have stuck with it after that.
Sure.
Right. Now, also, how many of the gatherings have you been to?
Man, it used to be a flex, but now it's just telling everybody how old I am. But I've been to all of them, so this will be number 25 right here, which is crazy to think about.
The reason that I say that, and the reason that I bring it up, is because you started out just a guy with a goal, a guy with a dream. And because you're willing to make the sacrifices, you're willing to make those trips, you're willing to put yourself out there, you're actually living your childhood dream now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never actually thought that would happen. When I was at the gathering watching JCW, it was cool. I was like, that'd be really nice. That'd be cool. But I never even dreamt about it. You know what I mean? It was
right.
It was pretty crazy. And then once the tryouts came about, it was just kind of meant to be sort of thing,
Sure.
And here's something else. I still get contacted all the time by guys. How do I get booked? How do I get booked? Please explain that you have to go through the tryouts. No matter if they do not call you, go to the tryouts.
That's the only way. That's what people ask me, how to get booked for JCW. That's all I can tell them, because that's the only way that I know. That's how I did it. I went to the gathering. I tried out for years and years and years. I was always second place because I was always the heel. And it sucked. At the end, it would be crowd reaction. And then, of course, they would cheer for the baby face because I was out there doing what I was supposed to do. So I never won the damn thing. But just kept coming back. And eventually, Pondo wanted to give me one of my big bumps. And I think that's how I got going.
Right.
Now, I know that ICP, they were in and out of WWE. They were in and out of WCW. Obviously, these guys have been wrestling fans a long time. You don't commit to a promotion. You don't commit to that type of thing unless it's in you. Because at that point, they didn't need the wrestling exposure. The first, I think, 2 albums had come out by that point, and they were doing fine. But clearly, it showed a passion for the business. When you show up with Luna and John Tenta behind a mask and the giant Kurgan and all of those cats, obviously you love the business. How
that
are
right
they?
There.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Finish your question. That's awesome.
How are they? How are Shaggy and Jay as far as promoters go as far as booker? Are they booking? Do they have? I would assume they have some help with them.
Yeah, there's a whole squad of people doing the booking and stuff. They do have the love of wrestling. You're right. I mean, they started out as wrestlers. You know, that was like right there with the rap at the beginning.
Right.
I think that Bob and Jay trained with Rob Van Dam and stuff. So right, but they do have the love. But yeah, right now he gets it. You know what I mean? Like when you're a wrestler, you know what people want to see. I feel more than just a random promoter who just decides to throw some matches together.
Right.
And I really like what he's doing right now, man. Everything just, it seems like there's something for everybody on every show. It's going really well, I think. I think he's doing great as a promoter and a booker.
Now I saw that for those of you at home who don't know, by trade I'm a book publisher. So I recently saw Sean Oliver of Kayfabe Commentaries, the Kevin Nash podcast, has recently released a book, or will be releasing a book shortly, about the history of ICP in wrestling. Did you talk to anyone during that process? Did they reach out to either you or Izzy? I haven't asked you either.
No.
Nobody reached out to me about that. I think the most I did was I put a word out there for people to send in their pictures and stuff. But man, I'm excited to see that book. I think it's gonna be pretty good. I think it even says part 1, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And Sean Oliver, I've never met the guy, but I respect what he does. I've been watching his stuff for years, and he doesn't, he doesn't bullshit. He doesn't pull punches. Like, he loves the wrestling business, but he, the truth of things, because he does a lot. I mean, especially now when he's working with Nash, because they have some good. I don't know if you've seen the Click This podcast, but they have a good time over there.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm looking at a couple bottles of some THC soda from Click This sitting on top of my counter right now from old Mickey and Get Blitzed. So that's funny you mentioned that. That's great.
Nice. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Cliffy, and I'm here today to tell you about an amazing new product that I got, that you want, that you need in your life. It's called Ninja Vanish. If you're like me, you get yourself in a lot of sticky situations. How you gonna get out of them? Who's got time? Who wants to deal with that? You need Ninja Vanish. Here's how it works. You're in the situation, you gotta get out of the situation, bam! Hey, where'd I go? You don't know. And more importantly, no one else knows. You piss your pants in your friend's couch? Ninja Vanish. You fart in an elevator? You gotta get out of there. Ninja Vanish. You walk into a gay bar? Ninja Vanish. Unless you're gay. You get in a fight with a hooker? She bite your tongue off? Ninja Vanish. You reference old things that aren't even funny no more? Ninja Vanish. You pull out too late. 9 months later, you got a problem on your hands.
Baby, I have something really important to tell you. I'm pregnant. God damn it!
Ninja Vanish! Your mom catches you jacking off.
What are you doing?
I'm using the bathroom.
Well, I'm coming in there.
No.
Ninja Vanish. You wake up next to a big girl in the morning that you don't know how you got there?
You was a minotaur last night.
She's got a dick. Ninja Vanish. Hey, and for the ladies, you can use it as well. It ain't just for us guys. You fart while your boyfriend's going down on you. Ninja Vanish. Alright, now tell you what I'm gonna do. 'Cause we can't do this all day. I'm gonna give you a month's supply of Ninja Vanish for $29.95. It's made in Thailand, so you know it's good. You also get this, the Blowfuck. A phone with a breathalyzer. You'll never drunk dial again. $40 value, absolutely free in the next 15 minutes. Hey, you've tried the other guys, now dip out with the best. Ninja Vanish.
That's great.
I'm sure it's a product we could all have used at one point in time.
Right, for sure.
Man, that guy was such an awesome person, you guys, and I'm so happy we keep his spirit alive here. Man, that's so awesome.
Absolutely, man. The business, it takes people from us, but we can still remember that kind of their sense of humor, their contributions, their friendship, their all of that. It's important and stuff like that. I'm glad that we have that footage because we're able to honor Cliff every time we play it. So I saw Mike. I saw that you had worked over the weekend. How'd that go?
Well, that went really well. I thought, man, it was pretty good. It was my first time at a GCW show. It was a backyard show, so it was at a house. It was pretty cool, man. It was different.
What state was that in?
That was in New Jersey.
Okay, yeah, they gave the undisclosed locations.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know. They just put a hood on my head and drove me a couple hours from the airport.
It's how is what's the crowd reaction like at at a backyard event? Like obviously there's far less distance between the workers and the crowd, I would imagine, in an event like that, as opposed to security gates and all that other. I mean, obviously you don't want people to get hurt, but I would imagine that the fan base is rabid and.
That was my first one, and so it was pretty interesting. I liked it. It was a different experience, but I think the GCW backyard is a whole different animal. It's just a different beast. JJ set himself on fire for the entrance. You know what I mean? For his entrance, that's how crazy that show gets. So, but yeah, you're right. They are right up there, up in your face, and they get to see everything you do, and so you got to wrestle accordingly.
Yeah,
right up in your face.
Got to keep it snug, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Just to get that feeling of, I mean, obviously the business was exposed a long time ago, but you can still get that feeling of realism in your work. And I've seen it, and when, we take all the flippy shit aside, there's still some stuff that it looks like it fucking hurts. The German suplex. Looks like it fucking hurts.
There's a good reason. There's a good reason why it looks like it hurts.
Yeah.
It's not just the great method actors.
That'd be great, right? If a German suplex was just super easy and everyone's just really selling it.
That's the one move that I refuse to take after a couple times doing it.
Oh, sure.
Because, yeah, especially after neck injuries. So.
Yeah. Well, it looks, the impact of that move, I know, has screwed up people in the past, giving them neck problems, upper back problems. Do you think that the move is safe technically, but do you think that it's one of those moves that contributes more to the breaking down of your body? Like when you're taking bumps, especially going back to Eddie Guerrero or Benoit, the way that they delivered them, or Lesnar, for Christ's sake. Do you think that is obviously all the moves have their impacts, but that one always looks like an inch here, an inch there, and the person receiving it could be in big trouble. What does that impact feel like?
Mosh?
It sucks, I guess. I don't really know. It's just that it's one of those things too, though, that with the I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't feel any different to me than a lot of the other bumps. You know what I mean? So
for me, it's one of the bumps that you have no control over.
Yeah, it's right. You're just landing. You're just hoping for the best.
True.
So that's kind of tough.
Yeah, you have to put your complete trust in the guy delivering it, because at this point you have no control except tuck your chin.
Yeah, I'm a big guy. I don't take it too often, but I have before. I think Shane Mercer might have given me one, but it's all trust, because like you said, you can't control. You're just up in the air hoping for the best.
Right?
Yeah, and that's the thing that always it's one of the F word.
Oh.
Wrestling, and I show them stuff like that. I'm like, there's no way. You can be taught how to drop and make sure your upper back is taking the impact and all of that. I'm like, but when you get dropped like that with one of those, I'm like, there's no faking that. And like you said, Izzy, it's your complete trust in the person delivering it, because if they're off by a half a step,
you're on top of your head.
It could be your ass, exactly. So that's, to me, that's always one of those moves that serves as an example of this is the kind of impact that these guys are dealing with on a daily basis. Right. I mean, I've seen, we've seen Lesnar throw people around the ring with that move, and it's like everything Brock does looks like it hurts. For the fucking size of him, the guy's a goddamn beast.
That, and again, you can't deceive gravity in any way.
Right.
Hold on, I don't want to take no. Yeah. There's no pause button in midair.
So, Mike, have you has any promoter or anyone ever come to you and asked you to do something that you didn't feel was reasonable or necessary?
That's I don't think so, man. I'm usually a pretty agreeable guy. There's nothing super crazy. There's been some stuff I wasn't necessarily really excited about, but you know what?
Here's the flexibility, though, and I want to go into this as we've discussed. As you brought up the word fake for a second, the business gets misunderstood so much because it is method acting in front of a live crowd where you do your own stunts and you physically are the one getting this over in one take. And the reason I bring this up is because Mosh is a man of 1,000 gimmicks. And you want to talk about being able to do something on the fly.
Right.
Imagine how much talent that takes just to be able to do it in one take, a gimmick that you've never done before. Oh, yeah. So I salute you with that, man. It takes an incredible amount of talent to be able to do that, especially on a nightly basis from one night to the next. So I salute you for that.
I appreciate it, John. Thank you.
And that's
no, go ahead.
And that's the thing that the point that has to be made. It's like, you look at like, well, football is a physical sport. Yeah, but they get a week off, and then they get months off after the season is over. You guys don't have that option. Wrestlers don't. If you want to put food on your table, you're working.
Well, not only that, there's been science and studies that show that wrestling is the most physical sport of all. And an hour or 2-3 hour football game, there's only maybe 2 minutes of actual contact.
Right.
So, as opposed to a 15-minute wrestling match where you're going to have probably about 15 minutes of contact. So it's a whole different animal.
It's true. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and we're going to play Straight Fire. Mosh, you'll like this. It's random questions. It's fun. So while we're waiting on that, here is a trailer for the recently released film from good friend of the show, Joe Lamb. This is The Fetus.
You're pregnant. That can't be right. He always wears a condom.
Oh, shit.
Have you been lying to me?
Whoa, wait a second.
Do you remember when I told you that my body doesn't work the same as everyone else's? By the way, I should tell you a few things about my dad. He's a bit particular.
I was more of a cat person.
Are you gay?
Well, I think your dad and I see eye to eye.
He doesn't really like anyone.
Oh, hey!
It's time.
Dad! No, Dad!
If we don't feed it, it will start sucking on her blood to survive.
You can't give birth to this thing.
Of course not! I've been freaking out since this morning.
I really thought you would grow up normal. You ain't family! You are the turd in the way.
Your mom really died giving birth to you?
right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Straight Fire.
What if CAT really spelled dog?
All right. Welcome to Straight Fire. Mosh Pit Mike, are you ready to play, sir? 5 random questions, no wrong answers. Don't think too hard about it. It's just fun.
Yeah.
All right. So, first question. Everywhere, you've worked all over the place. You've traveled all over the country, working here, working there. What's your favorite place to work? What's your favorite arena or city? Who treats Mosh Pit Mike the best?
Man, that's tough. Place, that's tough. Like I like the Gathering, man. That's my favorite place to work. Outside of there, man, that's really tough, man. There's no one particular place I can think of off the top of my head that's just like the best. I love working here at home in Albuquerque, and I love working at the Gathering, wherever that might be. Home at the Gathering. You know what? Detroit always has treated me really, really well, man. Rude Boy, Carlito Hill, IBW, everyone in Detroit has always been really good to me. Detroit, like Uncle Frank, everyone out there, Uncle Izzy, everyone out there is great to me. Detroit is my favorite go-to spot. I'm there I'm there often. I love that place.
Nice.
That's how burnt I am. That's how much I'm smoking. That didn't come to my mind right away.
Let's give it up.
He has the Mosh Pit Mike suite here at my house.
I know.
He legitimately has his own room that is known as the Mosh Pit Mike suite here at the house.
Fair enough. What's your favorite? I'll call it a pay-per-view, but super card. What's your favorite super card? Like, what's the one big show that you can always sit down and watch?
Wow, that's a tough one. You said don't even think too hard, man. I can't even give you one off the top of my head. That's freaking crazy. Man, God, I don't even have an answer for you. That's crazy to think about.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
No problem. Who is all time? Who's your favorite? What's your favorite gimmick?
I think Cactus Jack, man. That was when I was younger, that was the first kind of like crazy gimmick that I got to interact with, and I got to see him go through his different gimmicks, and so to me, it felt like some ownership because I knew about that from so young. So I would think that Cactus Jack would be my all-time favorite.
Nice, very nice. Who's your favorite opponent?
Favorite opponent. Man, I've wrestled such great freaking people everywhere, and it's really tough, man. Lately, I want to say Caleb Conley has been really, really great to work with. I've had some great matches with Caleb Conley lately. All time, man. That is a really hard one to think about, man. What else? That's funny. See, I smoke too much, then I don't think about things like this.
We're on the right program for that.
That's why I ask the questions.
Yeah, right. For real.
Okay, and all time best face or heel turn.
Best face or heel turn all time. I mean, it's hard to avoid the Shawn Michaels deal, right? And then, yeah, man, I think that's still where I've got to be with it, even just because that one, even without thinking about it, that one pops into my mind. That's also I was a kid. I was a kid, so that struck even harder. You know what I mean?
Look at him jumping through the barbershop window to try and get away from him.
Love that commentary, man. See, that's nothing against. Well, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Michael Cole. I've never really been a fan of Michael Cole, and I don't know. I miss the old days. I miss Gorilla and Bobby. I miss Gorilla and Jesse. It just had such a different feel to it back then, and Jesse and Vince got along. Well, early on they got along, but there was so much more. It always felt like the face commentator, the heel commentator, they were always back and forth. Who's your both? I'll ask both of you guys this. Who's your favorite commentary team?
Go ahead, Mosh.
It goes back to when I'm younger again. And I want to say it was probably JR and the King during the Attitude stuff. That was when I was really a big fan.
For me, it's a toss-up between Gorilla and Bobby and Roddy and Gordon Soley.
Yes.
Roddy was the first heel commentator, or the first one officially recognized, and that bled over, of course, and of course, built his vocabulary and being able to perform on the fly even more. So.
Oh, sure. And Piper, personality wise, I mean, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him as a human being. Obviously I never met him. But I've talked to a bunch of people who have worked with him, and he can be a little wacky, but all in all, a good guy. And his daughter is wrestling now, and doing pretty good from what I understand. So, that blood runs in the family like that, man, especially in wrestling.
We've always said that anybody that's ever made a mark or created change or anything like that, nobody ever looked at him and said, that person seems really well-rounded. There has to be a little something off, and that's the beauty of it. That's what's created from it.
Well, I wonder, the way that with Piper leaving when he did and then coming back, I know he went off to shoot. I think it was They Live.
Right.
But I mean, he had really gotten over. I mean, WrestleMania 3, he had really gotten over. And then to just kind of disappear like that for a while, I don't know if it helped him or hurt him. Because when he came back, it was like, oh, Piper's back. That's great. But like he could have had, and I don't think, and if you have a different opinion, then certainly tell me. I think Piper was one of those heels that didn't need a title.
Sure.
There's some guys who just, it's not necessary. Rick Rude didn't need to be world champion. Would have been nice, but didn't need it. He had enough going on. I think sometimes that the belts add to a gimmick that needs it. Whereas when you've got like guys like Kurt Hennig, he didn't need a belt. The guy was perfect in the ring. I mean, smooth as hell. Everybody, funny, a ribber from first class ribber, from what I understand. Between him and Fuji, I don't think anybody was safe in that locker room. So
when you first started watching wrestling, Mosh, what was the promotion you first started with?
I was a WWF guy, yeah, and I was a team guy. I was team WWF basically. I didn't really like WCW even from
right. I know with Albuquerque, it used to be part of the Funk territory, the Amarillo territory. So yeah, I didn't know what was pushed out there so much, whether it was WCW or WWF.
Yeah, I don't remember a WCW ever really coming to town until I was graduating high school, but WWF was there constantly in the downtown area.
Nice. Do you remember your first card, first time you went to the matches? Do you have any recollection?
Man, I do. I remember very, very clearly the Warlord came out there and the arena got quiet for a second. Chicken Lord. And he looked right at me and he points at me. He goes, and I was like, oh my God. It was like, what the hell? It was a giant arena and it was silent. He did that to me and it was like, wow. And that was when I realized, like, you can create those moments. You know what I mean? And that's one of those things that always stuck with me.
I'll tell you a story about Warlord that happened just recently, and I saw online. Him and Barbarian were at an indie show a month or so ago, and they did their thing, and before the show they were signing, and after the show there was a bunch of people still wanting to meet Terry, so he stayed and he signed everybody's autographs for them. And it was like an hour after the show had ended. And he just stayed and he took pictures and, you know, and right around, what was it, last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, when they went to, when Federation went to Saudi Arabia again, there's footage of Punk walking through, like, and brushing some kid off who had been standing there waiting to meet him.
Wow.
And I'm like, Warlord's 60 years old, at least, you know, worked a match, you know, and stayed for another hour without anybody asking him, you know, like he just, it's what he did, it's who he is. And here you've got fucking Loudmouth. And I respect Punk as a worker, but I'm so sick of his shit. Just because everywhere he goes, it's like, oh, it's controversial. It's controversial. Like, is it everybody else or is it him? I think it's him. All right. And again, I respect him as a worker. He's a great talent, but he's got a big mouth and a bad attitude. And he, you know, just has kind of turned me off as a fan because of that. And it's like, you know, the fight with Jack Perry, all the bullshit that happened in AEW. It's like, dude, just fucking be CM Punk and you know, I don't know. Rant on CM Punk over. This
is 25 years for you then, Mosh. That you've been in the business, 25 or 26?
It's going on 25, man. I think that first time that I actually did anything in the ring was in 2001, but we didn't have access to a ring after that. So I think I really started traveling in 2005. I mean, I started training 24 years ago, and wrestling about 20.
Right on.
Okay.
Right on.
The reason I bring that up is what are some of your goals still within the business after doing it for this many years?
Man, just to make some money, I guess. Like I don't have like goals pop up unexpectedly. You know what I mean? It's when I say, oh wow, yeah, I do want to do that. Like I'm really happy where I'm at right now. This was always my goal, and I guess the one goal I have now is to do it better the next time than I did it the last time. To be honest with you, it's like
that's a perfect answer, honestly.
Yeah.
Because all anybody could hope for or want to do is just be better than they were the day before. So that's awesome answer, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's striving to improve in whatever it is, and that's solid advice for everybody. You know, whatever it is that you do, whether you're a wrestler, you're an artist, you're an actor, whatever your thing is, embrace it and run with it, and know that nobody's going to be able to do what you do. So give them a reason to be like, I want to see Mosh Pit Mike, and you've been around for almost 25 years now. Obviously, what you've got going on works for you. People want to see Mosh Pit Mike. So that being said, nice lead in. What's coming up for you?
Man, we got some good stuff. We got the Gathering of the Juggalos coming up. That's a good 3-day thing. We're gonna have GCW versus JCW. We've been kind of beefing with those guys lately. I keep saying, like, put me in, coach. You know, I'm ready to play, and like, I'm ready to finally get my hands on some of those guys. You know, it was nice beating the hell out of the Korean Assassin, the North Korean Assassin, at GCW, but I can't wait to really beef with them, man. Then I think there's another tour, a wrestling show tour coming up in September. I think nothing's really been announced yet, but I think it looks like that's about when it should be. So I think every month or so we do about a week. So
nice. Well, definitely
JCW. I didn't say what they're called. JCW Lunacy, man. That's what's going on.
Nice.
One place I would love to see Mosh Pit Mike would be Japan. That would be for you to bring the Juggalo freshness to Japan and representing the Juggalos right beside somebody like Pondo or Akira, because you've made your mark. You've reached that point to where that would be the next natural step. Excuse me. But I think that honestly would be the next market for Mosh Pit Mike to take over, because you've already done everything else, man.
Yeah, let's manifest that one then, man. You know, I think it's definitely something that can happen. So, you know.
Yeah, we'll put it out there.
Absolutely. Put it out into the universe, my friends, because amazing things can happen. Mike, make sure that you keep us up to date with your shows and what's going on. We're more than happy to put out the hype train and get folks to come out. Anytime you want to come back, you want to talk about anything you've got going on, you're more than welcome here. Me and Izzy are here twice a week, and so there's always time. And we're happy to have you on. Anything you want to pitch or plug before we get going?
Real quick before you pass it on to him and close this out. The whole reason why Mosh is sitting here right now, the whole reason why we're having this conversation is because he was willing to take the risk. He was willing to go after his goals, his dreams, which started 25 fucking years ago. And right now he's sitting on top of that hill looking back, and he's done it. And that's the reason why I feel that his story is so important and why we put it out there, because dreams are possible. And this man is a living example.
Dig it. I dig it, man. All right. Well, folks, go ahead.
Well, yeah, let me do my thing though. JCW Lunacy, man. That's what I want everybody to check out. It's on YouTube right now. You can check out GCW Backyard on Triller. And man, check out this thing right here. This JCW program. You got Mike B. High. This thing's like a damn book. That's on Psychopathic Vault, man. You guys got to check that out. So yeah,
absolutely.
That's my official shtick.
There you go, man. All right. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for coming out today and talking with us. Like I said, brother, anytime you want to come by, we're here twice a week doing our thing.
Appreciate you guys.
Hey, we appreciate you and your time, my friend, and we will talk in the very near future. Be sure we're following you. You follow us. Descriptions will be in the descriptions, not descriptions. What's the word? Oh, links will be in the descriptions below. There we go. That's the word. I knew it was in there somewhere. It's not like
everybody remember, please check out Tommy Grayson's at the make sure you check that out.
Be sure the Amazing Graysons, ProWrestlingTees.com, pick up a t-shirt, help Tommy out while he recovers from that nasty break, man.
And your suite will be waiting on you here, Mosh. We'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot, man. We'll talk real soon, Mike.
Oh yeah.
All right, folks. This was Rezin. Don't forget, for all your printing needs, be sure to hit up our friends at Black Dog Printing. Right now, you can get 50 t-shirts with a one-color print for only $250. And these are not your crappy, iron-on type of t-shirts. These are real solid, professionally printed. They're not going to run. They're not going to crack. They're not going to, do any of that nonsense, which is, a problem that you run into with a lot of these fly-by-night printers. But Black Dog is definitely not. Definitely does not fall into that category. So we will be back on Sunday for our regularly scheduled chaos. And if I'm working the phones correctly, we may have a very special guest. So we will be back for that. Izzy, anything you want to throw on as we head out here?
As I said, just make sure you check out Pro Wrestling Tees and the Amazing Graysons, because being an injured wrestler and sitting back and wondering, was it worth it? Does anybody remember? Do they care? So this is a way to show that you actually care. Buy a man's shirt, help him support himself and his family.
All right. I dig it. We're going to go out on one last commercial break, folks. We'll see you on Sunday. We'll see you on Sunday for WMW. Everybody have a great day and enjoy your week. Peace.